After a devastating car crash, you look over at your spouse in the passenger seat, and they have a parking sign impaling their chest. They yank it free and look you in the eyes, saying, "Okay, I haven't been completely honest with you." The truck swerved to the left as we were passing it and hit us before I could react. Once, twice, 3 times we flipped through the air like an out-of-control roller coaster. My head slammed something. I lost all concept of up or down, and I passed out. "Frank? Frank!" I groaned. My husband shook my arm, which unleashed a bolt of pain through my head with every tug. "Oh, thank the gods. You're waking up." I opened my eyes and blinked until I no longer saw everything twice. "I'm good. How..." A giant metal pole impaled Rick's chest. With every breath, his breast expanded and slid even further over the pole. My brain was too jumbled to find any words, and I pointed. My finger trembled and tears formed in my eyes. Rick and I married a little over a year ago. I couldn't lose him already. Rick grabbed the bar. "Shh, Frank, I'll be fine." He pulled, and with a slithering sound, it popped free from his chest. It left a gaping hole behind. A pink, fleshy clump rose and fell whenever Rick inhaled or exhaled. Desperately, I applied pressure to the wound with my hands, as all the movies and series taught me to do. Surprisingly little blood trickled out. Hopefully no major artery was hit. "Frank, I'll be fine." Kind, but firmly, Rick pushed my hands away while I weakly struggled against him. I couldn't believe my eyes. Moments before, there had been a hole big enough to fit a hand. Now, I could have put in one finger at most. And even that puncture disappeared. Rick sighed. "I'll admit, I haven't been honest with you. I'll explain. But first, we have to get you to a hospital. Don't tell anyone about this. I love you." He planted a kiss on my forehead so tender that it was like the stroke of a feather. Then he kicked open the dented car door and crawled out. Glass crunched beneath his feet. He shouted orders to all the curious onlookers to get the hell moving so that there was space for the ambulance. Fatigue overwhelmed me, and I glided into a blissful, painless darkness, knowing that I'd be cared for by Rick. A warm hand enveloped my right hand when I woke up. Rick sat in a chair next to my bed, head leaning backwards. A soft snore escaped his lips. He wore a shirt 2 sizes too small. He had an active job, and it showed his muscles were bulky. Despite his bear-like appearance, he was kind as a grandmother, and just as good as baking. The smell of apple pie or pumpkin muffins would often follow him. I squeezed his hand, and he was startled. He giggled from relief when he saw I was awake. "Frank, I'm so sorry I dozed off. Do you need anything? I'll call a nurse." He jumped up before I could interfere and ran off. Moments later he returned, dragging a young woman behind him. She seemed about to cry for help, but regained her composure when she was let go. "Mr. Golden, it's good to see you awake. I am Nadia, and I will perform some short tests to determine if there's any brain damage." She routinely ran me through the tests, answering some basic questions about myself, following a pen with my eyes, moving all my limbs to prove I had perfect control over my muscles. "Well, Mr. Golden, only time will tell, but so far it seems you'll be fine. Do you remember what happened?" "A truck rammed us and we crashed." I avoided Rick's eyes. "Next thing I remember is waking up here." "What about Rick? Is he all right?" Nadia laughed. Literally not even a scratch. It's a miracle, considering how bad the accident was. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to finish my rounds for the evening, and you need to rest. She left the two of us behind. Do you not remember? One rule, I interrupted him. One rule we both agreed on. No secrets. Show me your chest. Reluctantly, Rick obeyed and pulled off the t-shirt. Skin was perfectly smooth. Not even a scar to remind of the gaping hole that was there mere hours ago. Tell me, was it a fever dream, or were you speared by a pole? I was. Let me explain. No. I've dealt with the lying and a cheating bastard before, and I'm not going through that again. I'm glad you're alive, but we're done. I turned my back to him. Frank, he pleaded, this isn't like that. I'm not purposefully keeping secrets from you like your ex did. Right. I bet you just forgot about being immortal or whatever freak of nature you are. Stop it. Rick walked around the bed and crouched down. His eyes were dark, almost black, like staring into a little void. A watery void at that, as tears rolled down his eyes. I wanted to look away, and I wanted to get lost in that void forever. I'm not immortal. I age and I die, but slower than you. I love you all the same, and I want to spend as much time as possible by your side. He sniffed and shook his head. I don't know how to tell you. All my life I was shunned. By my family for choosing to live among humans, by society for who I loved. I only wanted happiness, and I found that with you. I never intended to break your trust, but I was too afraid to lose your love. Seems like that happened anyway. He slumped on the floor and leaned his back against the bedpost. His head struck above the mattress. 1 moment, 2 moments passed in silence. Then I stroked his hair, the way he liked it most. He sat frozen as a statue where I stroked it and brushed it with my fingers. You got any more superpowers to share? He grinned and jumped up. My baked goods are imbued with healing powers. You sleep now. He bumped my nose. When you wake up again, there'll be breakfast with fresh croissants and scones. You'll be feeling top-notch soon.